Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's lesson, we're going to be working with our version of the straight blast. Alright, so with double sticks real quick, the first thing is we want to tilt the sticks like so. Okay, we want this angle, and then we throw the punches just like this. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, just like this. And the reason why the sticks are like this instead of straight is because they will run into each other. You're going to hit your own hand and stuff like that. If you have a bladed weapon, it's going to be very bad for you. So do this and throw. We're just throwing punches like this. So let me put this down real quick and do the same thing with the hands. So my hands are in this position and we're doing this motion right here. Okay, so you're going 1, 2, 3. So the first thing to practice is let's go with combinations of 3. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. So go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So just practice that, get some repetitions, and then the next part is for increased power. I showed you guys that we want to turn into it like so. So when we turn into it, I'm pushing off the same foot and the same side that's going to be punching. Okay, so I'm pushing off this foot, which is the left side. The left foot pushes off, so the left hand comes in. I'm able to push off using my hip and shoulder, and obviously you can see that the reach now increases too. So same thing with the other side over here. So instead of just coming this way like so, I'm going this way. So now I'm at an angle. Boom, like so. So the way we could put that into practice is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then put in the punch like that. 1, 2, 3, boom. So 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. Okay, so now I want to talk about 2 ways to punch, essentially. Okay, so one way is, as you do this 1, 2, 3, there is a notable downwards motion. 1, 2, 3, okay? You don't have to over-exaggerate that much, but in your mind, you are thinking down, okay? So the pressure is coming downwards because that gives you a little bit more power, but also whatever blockade is in the way, like their arms, they're like this or whatever, or they might be like this, I want to push those guys down. I want to boom, I want them down, boom, boom. I'm trying to get all of that and slam it down so then I have the room to throw my punches right here. So anything that's in the way, I'm grabbing, boom, 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 boom. It's all coming downwards to create the opening. So I want you guys to go ahead and practice that. Practice this downwards pressure, okay? You don't have to go boom, 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 boom all the way like that, but just kind of keep in mind that it is coming downwards. Boom, boom. So you do definitely want that downwards motion in there. Boom. All right, so now that you practice this downwards motion, the next thing goes along with it. The second way to punch is that this downward motion naturally brings us, so when you bring stuff down like this, naturally wants to come up. So we're going to use this spring motion, but instead of coming upwards, we're going to go forwards. So we want to go drive through, okay, using that springy energy that we just pushed down, because there's going to be resistance. You're going to push down, and then you're going to just go punch forward. The reason why we're doing this is because this is for close range, okay? This is close range. And when we get into that close of a range, there's a chance we could end up in the clinch. When we end up in the clinch, now we're going to have to swim for underhooks. Make sure you don't get head-butted. You have to drop your weight so you don't get thrown. Now it's a grappler's game. To try to make it a little bit harder for that to happen, we want to make sure that we keep the distance. And to keep the distance right here, we want to use punching with proper formation here, proper structure. And one way to practice this is to do push-ups like this. This is where your arm position needs to be. So you're punching here, here, here. You should be able to do push-ups on the ground. So do some push-ups like this. If you can't do push-ups, at least you should be able to hold yourself like this, or go to a wall and you should be able to lean on it, and that's the proper arm formation that you want. If your arm is gone, you're just going to go face first into the wall. Don't do that, but you know, that's how much pressure you should be applying, and your arms should be able to back it up. So that's what we're looking for, this proper formation that you could hold yourself to keep the distance. So every punch that you're doing is trying to keep that distance, make it a little harder for the guy to just go into the clinch and grapple with you. Okay, so the next part, what I want to do is compare it to the boxing, okay? So please practice those previous exercises, but how is this different from the boxing? The main difference between punching like this and then boxing punch like this is that in boxing now, we're utilizing more the elbow, okay? The elbow comes more into play. Boom, like this. The elbow comes a lot more into play compared to this. What's the difference? That difference is that this kind of punching is faster, speed-wise. And when you put in the elbow like this, you hit harder. That's the simplest explanation I can give you guys. This is faster, this hits harder, okay? What do we do to make up for the lack of power is that we have weapons in our hands. That's the whole idea of eskrima, kali, arnis, Filipino martial arts is the weapon advantage. We have the weapon, so we could go to where it's all speed, all right? The weapon we're counting on the weapon to help us there. You got to understand that boxers also understand this. That's why when they work on the speed bag, and notice why it's called the speed bag, they're punching in the same exact manner. They're making circular motions, and they're doing this, okay? The only difference is the hand position. We do it like this instead of this way, instead of like this. Our hand position is like this. Why? Because we have weapons in our hands. You know, we have the sticks right here, so I have to go like this. If I went like this, like if I was doing a speed bag, I can't do it. The weapons will get in the way. The interesting thing is, when you go to knife like this, all right, when you're in the reverse grip, then it becomes this way. You see, now the V is shaped downwards. Instead of, if I'm holding the weapons like this, then it'll be like this. See, the V is upwards. But then in the reverse grip, the V is downwards. So this is the same concept right there. So this is for speed. So striking this way definitely has the speed advantage, but one of the things that I want you guys to understand is that in combat, right, there are better ways to do quick jab-like strikes, okay, instead of going like this. Even though this is fast, this is for close range. This is for close range fast, okay? This, like if you're doing, you know, jabs like that and stuff, that's gonna be better for when there's more distance. When you get closer, then you can switch to this. And the other part of the picture for the overall strategy is once you start getting closer, then you gotta expect there's gonna be the clinch. And once the clinch happens, right, notice our hand positions like this, okay? Our hand positions like this, so if I do get pressed, like we do collide and get into the clinch, then guess what? My arms are not crossed, and this is, even though this is a bad position for most people, this can be a good position if you know what you're doing. So for us, we're looking for this arm cross position. This arm cross position is what helps us get into the clinch safely so that there isn't a headbutt that happens. A shoulder doesn't hit me in the chin. I'm feeling with this arm, so I'm going bam, 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 and then it starts to collapse, and then that's where I can go into trapping techniques. I can go into joint locks and stuff like that, or at least I could attempt it. It'll open doors for that kind of stuff, takedowns and stuff like that. So that's how we safely get into the clinch from striking range. So there are other styles that, how do they get into the clinch safely? And maybe like if they're an MMA fighter, they get into the clinch safely by boxing, all right? If they get outboxed, then you know you're going to be in trouble. Other guys, they have to fake out the opponent and they change levels. So they're basically a wrestler where they have to shoot under. It can be risky. They might eat a knee or something like that. So there's no perfect way. There's other people that they're just going to come into the clinch like this. Ours is closest to that. So if you've seen the old school jiu-jitsu fight, this kind of thing where they just come in and then they just try to tie up the arms, that's the concept there. But I feel like this, because of our Heaven 6 practice, because of a lot of the practice that we put in there, I feel that it's a little bit more sophisticated. Not to put down the way they're doing it, because they don't even care about that. Their main emphasis is to clinch and then to take the person to the ground. So they don't want to spend a whole lot of time there. For us, the same method that they use in the more classic jiu-jitsu styles is this kind of way to close the gap. We can utilize for stand-up striking, for stand-up joint locks and takedowns and stuff like that. So that's where this comes in. So I hope you guys can kind of see the overall strategy of where this fits in. So the main thing about all that is that when you're doing this, keep in mind that if you do get in close range, and you should practice it, if you are practicing this on a bag, you know, or even like on the door ledge, you practice this, put in that getting into a clinch, put that in there and use the arm, let your arm become like this, and then from here you're gonna work into, you know, your other hand movements right there. But we want to feel this pressure here. This is what's going to make, you know, your sticky hands, your trapping techniques, your clinching techniques a little bit more realistic. Is this kind of collapsing? If you're able to trap from here, boom, 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 I mean, that's all great and everything, but when there's real life pressure, you might have a little bit of a rude awakening. So put in that collapsing energy, put in that. So then you're going to have to switch into grappling, or you're going to have to learn how to trap in extreme close range. So that's the whole point here. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.